Namaskara. Through this video, I am going to introduce Champu Sahitya, Champu literature. Champu Sahitya is very major literature in Sanskrita as well as some other languages literature. Sanskrita is oldest language which has vast literature. Shravya and Drashya are the two major categories in Sanskrit literature. In Shravya, again we can see some categories like Padya, that is poetry, Gadya, that is prose, and one more major type, that is Champu, which grown up in later ages, which is mixture of poetry as well as prose. Champu, the word derived from the root word chapi gatyayam, champayati. Champayati iti champu, sulalitam chalati iti champu. That means easily moves a reader, as this Champu literature contains both version poetry as well as prose, can enjoy more effectively than other types of literatures. That's why the Champu literature became so popular, and it is very unique type in Sanskrita literature. The definition of Champu is given by many poets, especially to mention here in Gunadarsha work, poet Dandi mentions Gadya Padya Mayi Kachit Champu Ritya Vidhiyate. That means mixture of prose and poetry, that is only Champu. Very simple definition was given by Dandi. We can see the mixture or a good combination of prose as well as poetry here. And one more definition we have to observe given by Bhojaraja in his work Champu Ramayanam. Gadyanu bandha rasamishhrita padya suktihi Hrityahi Vadya Kalaya Kaliteva Gitihi. The definition says, as a plain song will be attractive if it is mixed with instrumental music, in the same manner, Padya Suktihi, that means poetry, it will be very attractive, it will be so nice to read if it is followed by prose. So, this beautiful definition was given by Bhojaraja. Hence, we will come to know the quality and definition of Champu through these two statements. Now I am going to tell you origin and progress of Champu literature. We can see some footprints of Champu, that means the combination of prose as well as poetry in Vedic literature only. Vedic literature is very ancient literature available in Sanskrit language, and in that Vedic literature, especially to mention here, Harishchandra Akhyana of Aitariya Brahmana, Taittariya, Maitrayani, Kataka Samhita, Krishna Yajurveda, and some other Akhyanas of Veda contains the style of Champu, that means the blending of prose and poetry. So we can come to know from Vedic period only that unique style was maintained by sages. In later ages, some Upanishads like Kathopanishad, Prashnopanishad, Mundakopanishad, after Puranas like Bhagavata Purana, and after Panchatantra, Hitopadesha, such great works also contain the mixture of prose as well as poetry. So that before that Champu individually developed, we can see its footprint in previous ages literature. Now I am going to explain you five major Champu works in Samskrita literature. Even though there are many Champu works, only five are recognized as major Champu works in Samskrita literature. I am going to introduce you now. One is Champu Ramayanam, composed by Bhojaraja, Champu Bharatham, Ananta Bhatta, Neelakanta Vijay Champu, composed by Neelakanta Dikshita, Vishwa Gunadarsha Champu, composed by Venkatadhwari, Nala Champu, composed by Trivikrama Bhatta. These five Champu works are considered as major works in Samskrita literature. Let us know few things about these five major works. Very first, Champu Ramayanam. The title only says Ramayanam. Of course, this work is based on Valmiki's Ramayanam, which is called as Adi Kavya. In fact, Adi Kavya is a source for many Sanskrit and other languages works. The author, Bhoja, was a king. Himself was a poet as well as true literature lover. So we will come to know he had composed many works in Sanskrit language. Among them, Champu Ramayanam is very popular. Champu Ramayanam follows Valmiki Ramayana in Kandas. Balakanda, Ayodhya Kanda, Aranya Kanda, Kishkinda Kanda, Sundara Kanda, etc. In Valmiki Ramayana, same names given by Bhojaraja in Champu Ramayana also. But the narration style of Bhoja is really unique. He has so attractively written this work. We can see many shlesha, that means the word which has more than one meaning, and the narration style is so serious, and we can see the beauty in composition, in constructing lines while composing shlokas, and especially his style, Vaidarbhi. Vaidarbhi was very popular style in Sanskrit literature since from Kalidasa's period. Poet Bhojaraja had lot of grips on alliteration, that is Adiprasa, that we can see through this Champu Ramayana. Especially to mention a shloka here, Naiva bhavastvamiha sheelavatishu ganya Naiva bhajat pitramatam gananam sa Ramaha Naivapamatmaja sukhanyahamapyanarya Naivapamambu bharatena name prateyam. Here in each and every lines in the beginning we can see similar letters, that is Adiprasa. Poet had grips to compose such prasa in his work. Now I am going to introduce you one more major work in Champu, that is Champu Bharatham. As Champu Ramayana is based on Valmiki's Ramayana, Champu Bharatham is one more major Champu work in Samskrita, which is composed by Ananta Bhatta, is based on another great work, Mahabharata. Mahabharata is also biggest source for poets, and Ananta Bhatta also takes the story of Mahabharata, and this is a beautiful composition where those big chapters are named as stabakas. Here this entire work contains 12 stabakas. 1041 shlokas are there. More than 200 proses are seen in this major Champu work. The language which is composed by Ananta Bhatta is so high, so beautiful, which made the work very major, important and very beautiful. Next Champu, major Champu work that I am going to explain you, that is Neelakantha Vijaya Champu. Neelakantha Vijaya Champu is composed by Neelakantha Dikshita, and here that Neelakantha, that is Lord Shiva, Lord Shiva's story is beautifully narrated in this work, and the popular story available in Puranas, that is churning of milky ocean, Kshira Sagara Mathana, that is the major story taken from Puranas and beautifully narrated by poet here. The poet has composed many shlokas in Vakrokti Alankara. Very beginning, Vande Vanchita Labhaya Karma Kim Tanna Kathyate Kim Dampatimiti Bhuyamutaho Dampati Iti. This is the shloka itself says the talent of poet in composing Vakrokti. And here we can see the beautiful descriptions, many incidents like procession of Lord Indra, conversation of Brihaspati and Shukracharya, and the description of Vaikuntha. We will come to know that the poet Neelakantha Dikshita was very expert in Vyakarana Shastra, that is grammar, and Purva Mimamsa Shastra. So many where in this work we can see the skill of grammar of the poet. Next major Champu work is Vishwa Gunadarsha Champu, the work which is composed by Venkatathwari. Venkatathwari has maintained unique style here in this work, and he has given an unique concept to the literature. He had travelled across the country, and whatever that experience he got by his journey, the impact we can see in this work. This Vishwagunadarsha Champu beautifully narrates that Indian culture from south to north. The poet starts the description of the country from Badarikashrama of north till Kanchi of southern part of the country. Glory of our culture is well expressed in this story. Two characters, Krishanu and Vishwavasu, they tells the impact of negative things and positive things of the society, and especially to tell here, this work represents social culture of 17th century AD. One more major Samskrita Champu work is Nala Champu. Nala Champu is oldest Champu literature available in Samskrita language, which is composed by Trivikrama Bhatta. Nala Champu story base is Mahabharata. Nalopakhyana is a very popular part in Mahabharata, and here that Nalopakhyana is the subject for poet. This work tells how the Nala, king of Nishada Desha, loses his kingdom, wife, everything, and how he dwells in forest. Later, how he retrieved his kingdom. Beautifully narrated according to the story. The style of Trivikrama Bhatta remembers us the style of Bana as well as Subandhu, who are very great composer in prose literature, who are very great composers in prose literature. Poet Trivikrama Bhatta himself mentions somewhere that Damayanti Katha is also one more name of this work, Nala Champu. The chapters are named as Uchvasa here, and here we can observe Shlesha Lankara. Shlesha means uh, one single word contains more than one meaning. So, like that, the vocabulary richness, whatever the poet had, that will be exhibited through the work. And we can see many commentaries on this work, and especially the a shloka of this work has named Trivikrama Bhatta as Yamuna Trivikrama, as he describes Yamuna very beautifully. Hope you understood the concept of Champu, development of Champu, and major works of Champu. I will meet you soon through my next videos. Until then, I would like to see you all. Samasta Sanmangalani Bhavantu.